I guess we're not going to play that clip. Let me try that again. Whoop. Welcome. We bid you welcome. Not Monday Night Metal, but hey, it's Thursday night, folks. Wasn't there a show on Thursday nights? I don't remember. Hey, I'm Johnny Metal, John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from my music corner of the world. We gonna talk some wrestling tonight, folks. And so this is gonna be a fun show because not only do we have Uncle Elmer Meat here, which is I'm so happy to see him in our midst here. So, but we got Logan the Crusher, and we got his friend Daniel here. And what we're gonna do tonight is Logan and Daniel were at this past weekend's WWE event for Saturday night's main event in Fort Payne, Indiana. So I kind of wanted to. I've been on a couple different shows where we've had the chance to talk the live experience as opposed to what we see on television, and sometimes it's a little different than what we see on TV than what it's in the arena. So we wanted to get Logan's perspective, Logan and Daniel's perspective on that. But before we do, Logan, you and I have talked here for a couple of years or so now, but I wasn't really aware that you were a wrestling fan. So tell me how you got into wrestling before we get into Saturday night's main event. And
I think it was
to Daniel too.
I think it was probably more my cousin, really, because my dad really wasn't he liked wrestling, but he wasn't like hardcore with it. Like whenever I spent time with my cousin, I really started getting into it, and probably 2010, 2011, I think, was around the time when I was really starting to get into it. And I was like, I don't know, 7 around that time. So It was kind of like the first thing I ever like really latched onto in life, kind of in a big way. This is before music and all kinds of other things, So
Right.
kind of always been there. I've kind of had my, like most wrestling fans, I think I've had my comes and ins and outs with it, and things I like and things I don't with the current company and everything going down. But I it just blew me away when I first started getting into it. Just loved everything about it, and kind of just been there ever since, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that. I was about 8 years old when I got into wrestling when I first got into it. And although with me it was a buddy of mine. There was a friend of mine who's a couple years older than I was, and he collected wrestling magazines. So between the wrestling magazines and then telling me about watching WWF on Channel 9 in New York, out of New York, that's how I got to see so much of the wrestling, the early days of wrestling back in the day. So yeah, this was like, early days of Bob Backlund being champion, so that's how far back I go. Like I remember like the Lumberjacks and Larry Zbyszko and Tony Gurria was like one of the first matches I watched on television. So it's, so you get that kind of, you get that kind of thing. But Daniel, what about you? What got you into wrestling?
Kind of similar story to Logan. So I got into it. My 2 older brothers were into WWE a little bit. So when they watched on TV, I sit there in front of the TV and watch as well. And it just kind of hit me, all the wrestlers. So kind of similar year, 2010, 2011. You got Randy Orton, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, Triple H. All those guys. My favorite ones, obviously Rey Mysterio and John Cena. John Cena the GOAT, all right, for me. And then here and there, I still watch it here and there. It might be like a year I watch it throughout, and then take a year off, and then get back into it. So right now, in terms of right now, I don't watch it right now. I usually just watch it on TikTok. People talk about it. Hey, this is what happened. So yeah,
Right.
that's pretty much my story a little bit.
Right.
And then I'm starting to collect some WWE shirts now. So collecting those.
Yeah, my wife would probably say I collect them too, because I tend to get quite a number of them when we go to different events and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. So because I have a good friend that she always goes and gets us ring sites. Well, we're not going this coming month in September, but we always wind up ringside for some of the events like in Birmingham here, and usually see us on TV sometimes. So yeah, but we've decided to take a step back. We're just going to promote the indies and go support the indie promotions. So Meat, you kind of want to fill us in on how you got into wrestling?
Well, I'm glad that Johnny talked about Bob Backlund and everything. So I mean, it doesn't make me feel quite as old as I feel, because even though I am about the same age as Johnny, pretty close.
Pretty close.
For me, it was I think it was grade 9 or grade 10. I was at a friend's place, and I went over to his place, and he was still sleeping. So I sat there and I was watching TV with his dad, and his dad was watching wrestling. And what had happened to be was it was the scene from Madison Square Garden where Roddy Piper smashed a gold record over Cyndi Lauper's manager's head. And I remember thinking, that is awesome. Like, what is going on? Or at the time, I wasn't into bad guys at all. So I was like, what? I can't believe he did this. And that turned into me seeing WrestleMania 1 at Kitchener Memorial Auditorium on closed circuit television. I saw 2 and 3 as well on closed circuit television, and wrestling was born to me. And very much like Daniel said, now it's like, yeah, I mean, I will go months at times without watching any of it, just because, sometimes you see something and you go, that's stupid, and it turns you off. That's just the name of the game. But
right.
I mean, I'm a Brian Pillman mark. I have been for many, many, many years. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So have you ever gotten to watch like NXT and see Pillman's son doing his thing? Have you ever watch him do it? He goes by Lexus King now, but
yeah, I remember being bothered when the name change happened. I understand it because it happens all the time. Like, Butch turns into Pug or whatever his name was. Who knows? All these names change. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know there's the whole thing with royalties and ownership of names and different things like that. But so go figure. Logan, who's your favorite wrestler these days?
Oh man, that's tough. Nowadays, well, I would say all time.
Well, let's just go all time. What's your favorite?
I've got two for all time: Macho Man and probably Sting.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I love Sting, man.
Woo! Yep.
Well, those are probably the two. But yeah, I mean, there's so many, right? That's part of what draws you in. The characters of the show.
Oh yeah,
because that's what they try to sell is them great. Somebody you can kind of get behind and root for, or somebody you like to be the bad guy if you're into that kind of into the heel kind of thing,
sure.
So yeah, it's just always been fun like that,
Yeah.
Yep. I think we know Daniels. I think he said John Cena, right?
Yeah, John Cena, Rey Mysterio. Currently, I would say Finn Balor and LA Knight. Those two are my favorite. Give the title LA Knight or Finn Balor, please. Come on.
Yeah.
I'd say currently for me, it's probably Jacob Fatu. I just really like the way he acts in the ring and his moves. All time is without question Brian Pillman, with a little asterisk to bang bang. I'm a Cactus Jack guy from way back.
Oh yeah. Well, just to make Sydney happy, one of my favorites really has always been Owen Hart. I was always an Owen Hart fan. God rest his soul. That was I still have that pay-per-view on VHS. because I recorded it that night and I still have that thing, and it's
yeah, it's tragedy, man, tragedy.
It's very tragic. But I mean, other favorite, for me personally, I was always a Jake. I always loved Jake. Believe it or not, I love the Ultimate Warrior. Sydney also mentions the wrestler who should not be named, but I'm going to name him anyway.
Great wrestler, man, right?
Great wrestler. Yeah.
Just a shame what happened.
Yeah, very shameful to what happened with him. That was so unfortunate. But I was always a Benoit fan. I always liked him. I enjoy watching some of these local guys that we've been seeing. We watch. Me and a friend, we go see this one called New South Pro Wrestling, and they just recently took the belt off this guy named Dave Weaver, Big Dave Weaver, and he's just this, he's a real cowboy looking kind of guy, and kind of rough and tumble, but good guy. There's another guy named Sean Christopher's really good. Donnie Primetime. Some of these guys are really fun to watch. You really want to see some of these guys really make the big time. Maybe one day, and hopefully they will. You never know. I have a soft spot in my heart for guys like Nick Gage. I got to meet him a couple of years ago and got a picture taken with him, and he's I'm a Drew McIntyre fan. I love Drew. DDP, obviously.
Yes.
Gotta say DDP. So I'm going off the rails here. Anywho, there we go. So we have that going. So Saturday night's main event. So I obviously didn't see you guys on TV.
Yeah.
Damn. What were your seats like?
Yeah. So where were you?
They weren't bad, man. I got us kind of in the top more than because those were kind of the cheapest ones I found, really.
Yeah.
And after they announced the bill and the event, the matches and everything, it kind of gets a little hectic for that kind of thing. But I bought them beforehand, so I think I bought them at the end or early April, kind of around there.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah. I mean, I think they were good seats. I thought, we were kind of on one of the sides where you could see the ramp and the ring, and they were just right in front of you, kind of thing. We weren't on like facing the ramp, so we were facing like everything.
Sorry, when you bought them, did you know it was going to be Saturday night's main event?
Yeah, they promoted it like that. So, which I didn't know it was going to be on the bill though when I bought them. So, because kind of like what we were talking about, I haven't watched like a Raw or a SmackDown in a long time, so I don't even really know the storylines or anything going on. I just thought it would be cool because that's kind of how it isn't how me and Daniel and a couple other buddies kind of bonded, but that was part of how we bonded was through wrestling. So I've always wanted to kind of do something like that, and I've only ever been to one other house show that I've been to for WWE. So it was really cool to actually be there for a live taping, like you were saying. So
right on. Very cool.
Right. So the first match was was there any prelim matches before the event, or did they
we got in about when they started the announcers actually came out. That's when we got in. Okay. So I'm not sure. I didn't read that they had any dark matches, so I don't think they did. I'm not sure if they do that much anymore. Like they used to do that a bunch, right, back in the day. Like for a Raw or SmackDown taping. But I don't think they did anything like that. Maybe they just played like packages of the storylines and stuff. Because I think it started at 7:30. We got there maybe 7:45, kind of pretty close to about time to start. So it was kind of cool. I didn't even know they let the announcers like walk down the ramp and stuff. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. They give them like their own, music and stuff, and the big entrance to come down there. Yeah. Usually for the Raw tapings or the Raw stuff and the SmackDown stuff that we've been to, they usually have they usually do like a couple matches beforehand, and it's usually taped for like a main event show or something like that. I guess they do on their YouTube channel or something. It's like a weekly thing. They usually have like two quick matches or something like that. But yeah. So the first match was the women's tag match, the women's six woman tag match. So what was that like to see in the scope of the arena? What was going on during that?
I'll go first, I guess. I just really loved, because that was the first time I've ever seen anything like that, really. I mean, from what I remember, because when I went to that house show, man, that was, I don't know, it might have been 8 or 9. So it was a long time ago. So it was really cool to be there and feel the energy, like when Rhea Ripley came out. I know Daniel was going crazy because he loves her, man. So, but it was pretty awesome, just to feel the energy. Yeah, feel the energy of the crowd and everything. And I seen a lot of people mentioning that the crowd was really like on fire all throughout the show, I thought. Besides one match we'll get to, I think was kind of a dull spot, kind of. But yeah. So, but yeah, it was just awesome, man, seeing them all come out like that. And I love that I got to see Charlotte Flair, because she's probably one of my favorites too, the going now. Of course, Rick's daughter. And I haven't really seen her. I have read that she was in some tag team like division going on right now, but I didn't watch any of her matches with Alexa. But I thought it was really good. They had great chemistry, And I know Rhea and her kind of have like a back and forth thing, rivalry thing for the title, right? And they kind of played off that a little bit during the match, which I thought was cool too. So
right.
But yeah, that was first thoughts about that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, naturally, Jade barely in the match, which was the heel thing to do. You usually you usually don't do that. When you're, especially for the match with her and Rhea, you want to keep them as far apart as you can, and keep her out. And actually, really, it's best to keep Jade out of the ring personally. She's got a great look, but after that, anyway, that's just my opinion. But I thought the action of the match was actually it was a really solid match,
Yeah, I think it was a great way to start the event, really, I thought it was solid. Probably could have been like in the middle or somewhere too, probably. I mean, I thought it was a great match, I did love the spot where Rhea and Charlotte, they did like a power slam together kind of thing, and they did the DX suck it thing. It was pretty cool to hear that live. So, but yeah, I didn't even know I was rewatching this a little bit when I got home, and I didn't know like Jade and B-Fab and all of them, they were dressed like Michael Jackson. I didn't know that's what they were going for.
I didn't know that. I saw that on TikTok too. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was like kind of a gangster thing they were going for. I didn't really pick up on the Michael Jackson.
They made a video that Michael Jackson. What's that song? The Way You Make Me Feel. I think it was called The Way You Make Me Feel. There was a video that Michael Jackson was dressed up like that with the top hat.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. They did that. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know how far Gary, Indiana is from Fort Payne, but I mean that's where the Jacksons grew up. Was in Gary, Indiana.
Right. Yeah, Gary. Yeah.
So, so there you have that. So that would be my guess. But I did see they did mention something about that all their outfits were Michael Jackson themed and stuff like that. Jade definitely is big on cosplay. But anyway.
But kind of like what you were talking about, Johnny, when you were talking about the whole Jade situation. I think they didn't use her as much either because they got those matches for Clash at Italy coming up. So, and I think there's another match we're going to talk about in a second that kind of got screwed because of that pay-per-view coming up. So
I think there's another reason why Jade didn't see much in there is because like the other two, they needed the showcase. Amishin, and I don't remember what I'd never even heard of B-Fab or whatever her name was.
Yeah. She was originally a manager for Top Dollar. I don't remember who the other.
It was like another tag team that just went nowhere.
Yeah.
No.
Well, another thing I wanted to say about this match, as Johnny knows, for most of my life I've been a love of the heels. And a classic trope of the heel is a classic reason why a lot of times the faces lose. And so the first time that Charlotte and Alexa and Rhea started doing their celebrating in the ring and all that, they got beat up. So then the second time it happened, I remember thinking to myself, they're just about to lose. Because they did this whole thing, like this whole thing where Jade and Charlotte, they picked up Alexa and like, oh, well, here comes the loss. And it's totally predictable. All of a sudden, boom, boom, there's Jade come in, power slam down. Like, well.
And so my prediction is Rhea's winning in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. She took the pin, I think. Right?
Yeah, she took the pin.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Yeah, since she took the pen, my prediction is that usually how that they do that is then Rhea will wind up going over in Italy. So she may have gotten one over in the six woman tag, but she won't get it over. She won't go over in Italy. So that'll be my guess. So, okay. So the next match, I'm trying to remember the order of the matches.
And Becky and
was it Becky?
Becky and and Lola, not Lola Vice.
Sol
Ruca.
Yep.
With Becky Lynch's favorite referee.
Funny.
Her and Jess have this awful history back and forth. How did that match go over live?
So for me, I'll get to this one. So for me, I was expecting a lot of this match. You know, both of them are pretty good wrestlers. So I was expecting, tense, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But, in the beginning, Sol Ruca was, showing off her skills, all that. And then we get to the point where dirtiness comes from Becky Lynch. There was a botch. It looked kind of weird. The ending. We didn't know if it was botch or not. And then I look over the day after and it was a botch, which a lot of people have opinions about Sol Ruca's finisher. Maybe she should change it or stuff like that. But all in all, I was disappointed of the ending. And then they announced that they're going to have another match next week at Clash of Italy, which was like, well, great. So you announced this match for Saturday. And then it's DQ and they're going to have another match over in Italy. So I'm like, well, great. That's a bummer. I was hoping a really good match between them too. I was hoping Sol Ruca would win, get the belt. I want, a younger NXT star, get a big push like Obafemi. He's been huge right now. So, yeah, kind of disappointment on that one.
Well, it would have been cool too, right? Because there was no title changes at all last week.
Yeah, that too.
So,
no.
Yeah. I think they kind of screwed up a little bit with that one, but I get it. We were kind of just a stepping stone for the Italy show, kind of.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I guess that's kind of how it goes, right? It sucks, but
I know my weird thing. I got a weird thing with Becky being a heel. I usually love the heels. I'm not a big fan of Becky being a heel. I don't think it helps her character at all because she's supposed to be this tough guy, supposed to be the man, and all that. I just find it's very predictable what's going to happen in Becky Lynch matches when she's a heel. It's always going to be some sort of DQ, and that's fine, but I don't know. It doesn't excite me at all.
No.
See, and when I was watching it, Becky was a face, so I'm really more used to that kind of Becky compared to her doing this heel thing.
She's great as a face too. I mean, that's what
I think so. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Tom here has a good. She's definitely better as a face, and the hubby's a better heel.
Yep. Totally.
I agree with that, Tom. I agree with that. But nothing special. I feel like they're kind of I don't know how much of Sol Ruca's run in WWE the main roster has been Sol Ruca's doing or WWE's doing, but it's not been very it hasn't been very amazing to witness so far. It's been she's had a couple of decent matches, but it's but at least they're still not playing the Zarya coming in and screwing everything up, every time she has a match. At least Zarya's still doing the NXT thing. So, okay, so on to the next match, which was
Ethan Page and Penta.
Ethan Page and
Yeah.
Penta. That was
I think. Well, I'd probably talk for all of us, right? I mean, that was probably the highlight of the event, right? I mean, that was a great match, man. I loved everything about it, and seeing the entrance, even Penta's entrance, was awesome, man, with all the pyro going off and stuff, because you're not used to any of that stuff, Seeing that live was pretty awesome. So I know Daniel loved it. So
oh man, I was going high. We was doing it. Cero Miro. Oh man, I was so into his entrance, so into it.
Yeah.
Well, I can honestly, basically, here's my review of the whole card in general. The whole card was about a 5. That match was about a 9.
Yeah.
So,
see, the thing I thought that was going to be the main event.
I thought so too.
Yeah, when that got done, me and Daniel were both like, that should have been like the main event, man. Like, nothing's gonna top that, and I don't think anything did afterwards.
I absolutely loved that match. I loved everything about it. I think one, you got Ethan Page, who needs the exposure and showed really well and kept kicking out of moves that Penta has won with. And Penta is still an exciting product to watch, like very much so. And I really liked how they went like total face for Penta and total heel for Ethan Page. And I really liked the back and floor and the back and forth and the flow of that match. Like I said, 9 minimum for that match. Like by far the best thing of the night.
Yeah, definitely. And I really hope that they weren't going to put the belt on Page that quickly, because if you remember in NXT, maybe you don't know this, but in NXT he won the North American belt, I think, rather quickly, like in his first 2 matches or something, and he already got the belt. So they kind of put him on there super fast, and then so I'm kind of glad they didn't do a repeat with that one, but I ain't got time to bleed. So there you go.
And Jesse Ventura was also in the movie Running Man.
Yes, he was.
With Arnold.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Hey, but right now he's down living in the Baja. He lives down in the Baja for 6 months of the year because he doesn't have a cell phone for anybody to get a hold of him.
That's not a bad impression.
Did you guys ever watch?
I watched Will Sasso doing these impersonations, and they're hilarious.
Did you guys ever watch his conspiracy theory show or whatever? Didn't he have some
I saw a couple of them, but
he's crazy.
It's been a little bit, but
yeah.
I want to give Chris Van Vliet a quick plug here, because he just had Will Sasso on just recently, and this other guy, Dan
Solar, who's a great impressionist too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, these guys were doing impersonations of like Macho and Hulk Hogan.
Andre
and all these different guys, but there was one segment where they had Macho Man in the voice of Macho Man reading Charles Manson quotes.
I saw that,
and it was hilarious and disturbing all at the same time, because I'm thinking, are these wrestling promos or are these quotes of Charles Manson? There wasn't much of a difference. I don't know.
Well, I guess you can tell he's doing good for that, right? If you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Back in the day of Cactus Jack, back in the WCW days, they kind of almost tried to morph him into a Charles Manson figure. He kind of looked like him, and he kind of acted like him. So it's not the first time that they've compared Charles Manson to wrestlers.
And he used his last name was Cactus Jack Manson for a while.
Really?
In the really early days, there was a time that he went by Cactus Jack Manson. Yeah,
I think I remember that now, actually.
Yeah, big time. But so all right, highlight of the night, obviously Page and Penta. So all right, so from there we go. I know what the last match was. It was a tag match, but I know there was like another match in between. It was another women's match, I think, wasn't it?
was Paige and
yes.
what is
Yes,
it?
the tag match.
Is
Tag match.
it
Oh,
Brie Bella or Nikki Bella? I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
Brie.
Yeah.
Which
And they
is
were-
which is so bizarre to me because her husband's a coach in AEW. So I'm like, how are they getting around that? But
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Yeah.
Money
but
talks.
but yeah, Paige
But
and Brie and against the irresistible forces. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the
yeah.
one. This was the one I was talking about earlier. That was kind of just complete filler. Kind of. I don't think anything really happened that was that great, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, nothing that really got me excited. Like, it's just like a big come down after Paige and Penta. You know, to me, you know,
Right.
it wasn't really anything of note to me. Like, I don't really remember much about that match, to be honest.
Right.
So,
I'm
yeah,
kind of a page mark in a way for, well, two reasons. One, I think she's gorgeous. Two, I really loved the movie Fighting for My Family, and
That was a
really,
good movie.
I've seen it a bunch of times, and I just find Paige inspiring. I'm glad that she's wrestling again.
Yeah, I'm glad she's able to do it again. There have been many a time I watch her take certain bumps. I'm like, oh.
well, yeah, you got to
know.
give her credit for that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, I mean, I did the same thing with Daniel Bryan and Christian and Edge and all those guys. I was doing that same thing for all those guys. But yeah, kudos to Paige. Yeah, nothing really, nothing too exciting. You have the Bella twin, thing doing at the end where she helps Paige get the pin over. I think Lash Legend, I think, took the pin, wasn't it, or was it Nia?
I
I can't remember who took the pin. I want to say it was Legend. I think it was Lash, but
yeah,
but,
probably.
yeah. But yeah, nothing to write home about with that match. So
That's
yeah.
crazy too. That was a title match, right?
And that was a title match. Yeah.
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 That's
Didn't
crazy.
even notice.
Because nothing happened. That was bad. You know.
Right. Well, I mean, when you have Paige and Brie, I mean, people who have long been around for so long, and really Brie's kind of getting past that age to where she really can, as a woman wrestler, should still be going. Charlotte and Becky are kind of, they're about 40 as well, so they're starting to get up there in that age, where it's maybe not, maybe time to start thinking a little. But then again, hey, Moolah and Mae Young were still taking bumps at 80 and 90 years old. So who am I to say, right? But yeah, let's talk the last match, Street Profits and the Vision. Yeah, what are our thoughts about this tag match?
I think for me, it was an all right tag match. I think the biggest thing that helped was the crowd. The crowd was amazing with
Especially
that
toward
match.
the end of the match.
They hated Logan Paul, and it was funny to chant with them.
Yeah.
And the best part is our seats. There was like kids in front of us. Oh man, those kids, man, they hated him. At one point, they just stood up and flipped him off.
Yeah, they full on flipped them off, dude.
I love that.
But in terms of the ending, in terms of the ending, I was expecting Seth Rollins to come out, but he didn't. So
yeah,
he didn't.
I was surprised about that.
I thought the same thing.
Nope. Yeah, it would have been a huge pop for that place, I think, if Seth would have came out, But yeah, I liked it. I kind of, I don't think I liked it as much when I was there, but I rewatched it later, and I was like, this match wasn't that bad, The heat on Logan Paul was tremendous, I mean, him ripping up the signs before they were starting to wrestle. And anytime you could see Paul Heyman, pull like a, Bobby Heenan kind of move with the whole putting his leg on the ropes, you got to love that, man. So,
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty cool match, but still I would have switched, Penta and Paige should have been in that spot.
Well, they kind of had no choice but to put that as the main event. Which is it's weird. One thing I wanted to say, that match was the second best match, I'd say. But, I wonder if the product is kind of missing a bit. Like, Seth Rollins should still be in the Vision. They didn't have the vision, knowing that Bronson Reed was going to be out again, and I don't know, because beforehand you got Austin and or I guess he's Theory now, and Logan Paul, and they're like, we're the greatest team ever in the world. You're the greatest team in the last week. What are you talking about?
Oh, I think Logan Paul got injured.
They're not that good. You know what I mean? And it's hard to make the Vision this feared thing when they're really not that good. So, I mean, I think they didn't realize that Rollins was going to be still needed in the Vision. It's kind of like an oversight that he left the Vision, because the Vision it's just meh.
Yeah, I agree with somebody who said that they feel that the Vision is cursed. Rollins gets hurt, so they have to write him out and get him out. Bronson Reed gets hurt, freak thing.
Yeah,
he's out. Braun Breaker has that hernia thing that he winds up putting him out of commission.
Yep, he
comes back. Now Logan's out.
Yeah, just crazy.
And Austin Theory had come back from an injury to get into the Vision. So it's like, so now my thinking is, well, are they going to, obviously now they're going to defend the belts with, as Tom here put it, with the Freebird rule, I guess Braun and Austin are going to be the tag champs now. But do you think they're going to try and recruit anybody?
Don't they almost have to?
Yeah,
I don't know how much longer Bronson's going to be out, and I don't know how long Logan's going to be out. But
how was anyone scared of Austin Theory and Logan Paul? I don't know.
I don't know who was in that tag team.
Yeah, Braun.
Bad tag team.
The whole thing with Braun Breaker, that was the best part about it, though. I thought, that whole bump onto the announce table thing, would have been cool if they would have broke the announce table. That would have been awesome. But,
I really liked, and I think this is usual and one of the reasons that you were saying the crowd was really into it. Montez Ford is I kind of wish that he would be in a situation to capitalize on the crowd loving him, because does anyone do a frog splash better than him? It's even better than Eddie, because he gets higher than Eddie. Like it's pretty amazing. But I will say this. On a comment that Ladano said earlier, that Meat needs a singlet, I really didn't like Dawkins' attire. It looked like he was wearing a blouse. It really looked weird to me.
But that was kind of. But toward the end of that match, man, the crowd was really getting into it, because you really thought you were going to get a title change.
Mm-hmm.
But
not to be, right? Not to be.
No, Seth had nothing to do with it, and Montez realized, okay, maybe I'm seeing it wrong. That was kind of talked a little bit about on Raw on Monday night, but so. All in all, fun. Was there anything going on? I don't think there was any commercial breaks really. So it kind of must have just kept on going. So
they it seemed like it went like during or after the matches were over, it'd get a little dark and they play like some promos on the screens. But besides that, I'm not sure how they do it anymore, because I know like AEW is like picture to picture sometimes when they go to commercial. So. Right. It's it's just constant. I don't really know. I'm sure it was different back in the day, but
most of the time you never really knew when, like on the live shows. Sometimes you knew, sometimes you didn't. Sometimes especially if it's during the match itself. Usually, if there's a commercial break, that's when the lights go out for about 3 minutes, and then some wrestlers are standing in the ring just they're just kind of waiting for the thing to come back, and then they do their thing. But sometimes
it was a fun time, man. It was a great time,
Very cool. Very, very cool. But me, I don't know if I asked you this. What was your first event that you ever went to? Like, what was your first like a big card that you got to go to, or a match you got to see?
Okay, one thing, it's kind of funny that my name is Uncle Elmer Meat, because the first time I ever went was at it was just a house show at Kitchener Memorial Auditorium, and a longtime buddy of mine still laughs about us standing in the back. Like we were in the back where they come in, not in the open arena. We're in the back when they come in, and he always laughs about me berating Uncle Elmer, which is always funny. But the first big one I saw was something called The Big Event. It was at Toronto CNE Stadium, and the big match was Hogan and Orndorff, because Paul Orndorff had turned on Hogan like 3 months before, so it was set up for this show, The Big Event. So that was the first one. I got lucky to see WrestleMania 18 with the Hogan and The Rock, and that was absolutely amazing. I've said many times that I've seen Motorhead live 3 times, and I still say that even louder than Motorhead was the roar in Skydome when Hogan and The Rock were in the ring just looking at each other. I couldn't believe it was like 70,000 people going insane for either guy. It was insane. But the last time I saw wrestling, it's very interesting. It was pre-COVID, and it was at this really crappy little place in Kitchener, Waterloo here, and Josh Alexander was there, who, if you know, and a guy that I hadn't seen for years shows up. I didn't even know he was on the card, but Carlito comes out with an apple, and I'm like, wow, how the mighty have fallen! Like, I can't believe Carlito. And then 3 years later, he's back in WWE. So it shows you that you never know with the independents that you can get back. You know. Yep.
Yeah, he showed up. They had him in that. There was a Puerto Rican show a few years ago. It was the one with Bad Bunny and Priest going at it. And I think Carlito made an appearance for that. And the crowd went ballistic for that. And so they just were able to bring him back. And he had some. Oh man, he had some great humor in those Judgment Day stuff. It's a shame that he got let go, but it is what it is. The wrestling business is the wrestling business is a very fickle, very crazy business. It's almost as weird as the music business.
Gonna say the same.
Actually, no, the wrestling business is weirder. Actually, if you really stop to think about it,
it's weird.
It's much weirder, but man, I think about a lot of different times I got to see wrestling, and I was at a Nitro in 1996, and I think we had the NWO was big at the time, and who did we get joining the NWO that night? Buff the Stuff.
Love it.
And Scotty Riggs coming out and said, "What are you doing, Buff? What are you doing?" But which is funny because I would see Scotty Riggs at the DDPY Performance Center, and I said, the last time I saw you in person was when Buff turned on him and joined the NWO, and he goes, "Wow, that was in Salisbury, Maryland." He's like, "Yep, I was there." It's like, "Man, we always thought that was in Orlando." I was like, "Nope, that was Salisbury, Maryland." It's like, "Oh man, all right, yeah, that's what Buff said too. I thought it was Florida." Oh well, but he was a good dude. But he was good.
Well, at least you got to see WCW when it was still rocking. I've only seen WCW once, and it was a Nitro in my hometown of Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, and
let's just say it was only there because the stock had fallen. I got to meet Kevin Nash at a Pizza in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
and then I went to the show, and me and a buddy, we went around to the back of this arena, and there's Doug Dillinger, the security guy for WCW, and he's like, "You got tickets already?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "What kind of tickets?" I'm like, we're like in like the 14th row. He's like, "Here, take these 2 tickets, but you have to sit there," because they were trying to fill things around the ringside that weren't bought for TV purposes. So they go, "Oh boy, that's how low that it got."
I want to point this out about what Tom here says. Let me preface this. Remember when he was a total? He's talking about Buff Bagwell here, and then he was in this GWF as the Handsome Stranger. I remember that man. He would come out with he would give out like long stem roses to people and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, that's even before he was Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
Yeah, that was back in the day. The Jobbers, that would be a good name. I know there was the Job Squad. I think that was a big thing back in the late '90s with Al Snow and a couple of others. But so yeah, since now you guys are going to get us talking, really showing our age with some of the stuff that we would talk about. But I mean, probably the biggest event that I got to go to was SummerSlam 2022 up in Nashville. My wrestling buddy and I got to go up to that. That was pretty cool.
What was the main event of that?
Main event from that was Brock and Roman, and that was when Brock came out with a tractor. And
I remember that.
That was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. Craziest thing. I think the Miz and Logan Paul was on that match. McAfee and Baron Corbin, I think. Bianca and Becky Lynch, or I can't. I don't know. I can't. I'm trying to remember all them. I'm trying to remember too. It's been a little while, but
so 2022 was that like just after the Thunderdome stuff, like because of the COVID and all that?
Yeah, this would have been after COVID. So yeah, 2022.
It was still going on. 2022.
Yeah, it was still kind of. I mean, we weren't having to do social distancing at that for SummerSlam at that one. So,
got you.
But yeah, it was still, it was a pretty good crowd. It was still about 40-something thousand people there. So, we weren't at ringside, but we could see where the wrestlers were going to come out. We were like the row right next to it. So we were like, we could have seen them right there. But, so that was kind of fun. That was a fun show, but yeah. Yeah, good times. Wrestling is one of those things that I think Meat and I could probably talk for hours and hours and hours on, and we probably would not get bored. Probably bore everybody else around us.
Probably. Well, you tell them about the idea that we've talked about many times that we will eventually do. We might as well mention it.
Yeah. Oh, we need to celebrate the anniversary of probably one of the best pay-per-views of all time. ECW's One Night Stand 2005.
Yeah.
Hands down. One of my personal favorites of all time. And what makes it my personal favorite? Well, you'll have to wait until we talk about it. I tell you. But I love the old ECW stuff. That was my thing. I loved all that brutality stuff. So
yeah.
So
indeed.
We want to talk about that because it's coming up on the 21st anniversary. So it'll be that pay-per-view will be able to drink now after this. They'll be able to drink just like the Sandman now. So
I'm just curious. So Logan and Daniel, was there anything, or would you say that seeing this card makes you want to see it again, or did it kind of soil you a little bit on paying that kind of money to see it again? Like, what way would you say you guys were falling on that?
I would see it again for me personally. The first match with the tag team, Charlotte, Rhea, Alexa, and then Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. I didn't think it was going to be, looking at it, I thought it was going to be, kind of a fast match. But once we got there and they started going, it was a great match. I was surprised about that one. Obviously, the Becky Lynch and Sol Ruka one was disappointment. And then Penta and Ethan Page, that one I was excited for before, and then during, still excited about that match. The Brie Bella, Page, and then Lash Legend, Nia Jax. Wasn't excited about that one. And then tag team match. It was all right. I just don't like Logan Paul. That's my main thing.
Yeah. Well, he's doing his job at least.
I give him that.
100%. Yeah. But yeah, for me, man, I'd love to go to another event. You know, maybe a bigger named one, obviously, because
Mhm.
I don't know if the Saturday night main event, you know, I don't think they're ever gonna get. But I don't really know how to word it. You know, it's kind of a weird bill, really. You know, they didn't really have a lot of names, really, to me. I mean, I guess probably for younger people who know
Right.
more
Back-
about the newer product. You know,
Back in the
but,
day, that me and Johnny, I remember so well. There used to be title changes on Saturday Night's main event, but it's kind of rare now.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, very, very rare. You usually going to get them at the bigger cards, or once in a while the surprise cards on Raw or SmackDown, but it's not that often. But
Even though John Cena's
yeah.
final match was on one, which was kind of cool.
yeah, with him smiling and
Yeah,
I didn't like that ending, man.
yeah, that was kind of corny. I admit
Yeah.
that was a little corny, but the thing right now for me with WWE is they're just way too expensive. And I was looking at prices for SummerSlam just for fun. I could get tickets for like $150, and I would be like at the 5th or 6th row from the top of the arena.
Crazy.
I'd be better off watching it at home.
Totally.
Why do I need to go to Minnesota where I could just stay at home in the Baja and just watch it on TV? It works better. I can see the people better.
Those double night things, those are really kind of starting to take their toll on the price, I think, too. I don't really see that lasting much longer, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd be surprised, because I know WrestleMania didn't sell the greatest this year. So,
yeah.
Well, they needed. I think it was a bad idea to go to the same place 2 years in a row. Come on, you got a double night and a double night. You're charging $500-$600 a pop for each night. What do you think's going to happen? Like, there's only so many people that are that much of a fan that they're going to travel from Boise, Idaho to go see. Like, I don't know.
Well, and then next year it's going to be in Saudi.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Especially now with all the stuff going on in the Middle East.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think I would be figuring out a way of rethinking that.
Yeah,
that's just me personally. But yeah, I didn't like the idea of Royal Rumble being over there and all these other events. I've not been very crazy about that. But man, I don't know. With all the tensions going on in the Middle East, man, I don't think I'd want to be over there. But
it's too much about big money. I mean, and I think Johnny will totally agree with it. Like, think about back in the day when it wasn't in this huge baseball stadium or football stadium, and there's the light out, like it's light out. Even watching it at home, it's not as fun. I'd rather watch a pay-per-view from Madison Square Garden where where you're all closer together and you can see the crowd feeling the energy and everything. Like, way better than these huge. I don't know. To me, it just takes away from it.
Yeah. We looked at tickets for that Madison Square Garden show, the Saturday Night Main Event that's coming up in July. Yeah, we looked at prices for that. We were like, yeah, and then we still got to get up there. Yeah, no, that's okay. But I mean, I couldn't do it anyway because I've got to be I've got to be in Atlanta the next weekend for DDPY. So there's so I wouldn't have been able to. That would have been way too much travel, and can't afford all that. So that's okay.
I don't know why I jumped on this too, man, because this is the first show they've had in Fort Wayne in like 12 years, I believe.
Sure.
So
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah. I think the last one was like SmackDown or something, I think. So
Probably. Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but there you go, folks. So, I hope y'all who have been watching this, I saw we've had a few people sticking in here for a little while. So I appreciate y'all watching this. Sorry about the comments. I know Sydney's been going on. I see Ernesto's in there. Tom, Ash was in there earlier, and Kyle was in there earlier too. So I know there's been some folks watching, and Lodano, of course. Yeah, so it's just been a lot of fun, guys. I like it's always good to talk some wrestling, brother. But so Logan, what's coming up on the Slogan channel that you want to promote?
All right. So we're not really. I think we're just playing music this coming weekend. We don't got any talking discussions going on. I think Sydney's playing. We're doing the monthly hangout on Saturday where people request songs, and it's usually a fun time. We usually go about 2 hours. And before that, Sydney's actually doing a birthday show for Mr. Webb, who Johnny knows, of course. Right. It's his birthday, so he picked some songs, and I think that goes like an hour. And then on Sunday, I think Sydney's playing the Canadian band Tease. He's playing their whole catalog of albums there, because we're interviewing a couple of the guys from Tease, because they released an album last week, and we're gonna have them on the show, two of the guys, which is pretty cool. I'm excited for that, man. So anybody who isn't familiar with the Tease catalog could come on Sunday and check out some Canadian hard rock.
Right.
So
very cool.
Right. What about you, Pete? What you got coming up?
Me? This Wednesday, I'm going to be doing the same show that Johnny did yesterday at the Little Gnome Bands. And let me just say right off the bat that Johnny Metal hit it out of the park last night. It was a great thing. Unfortunately, because of some circumstances, I had to miss the first 20 minutes or so. But the stuff that I caught was excellent, and it seemed like there's a lot of people watching, and you connected well with people. I'm doing mine on Wednesday. Cool. It's going to be 2/3 a Canadian edition, almost more than 2/3, which I'll explain because one of the bands has a Canadian connection as well. Really looking forward to that next Wednesday. So
okay, all right.
Pete, it was a pleasure, man. I'm glad we finally got to do a show together, man.
Same, Logan. It's about time to run a show. And Daniel, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah,
and Johnny Metal, I know, has a show coming up that I'm going to be doing a list for, which I found really interesting. And I'm guessing it was your idea, Johnny.
No, it was Mike's.
Oh, it was. It was top 10 Kiss songs not about love and or sex. So, I mean, that's very interesting because the first 6-7 albums, you don't got many songs to choose from because that's pretty much
that's Paul and Gene's favorite topic.
I think we'll be quite surprised about that, Meat. Actually,
I went through it already, and there's
some a lot more than you think.
Like a song like "God of Thunder" that don't count because that's definitely talking.
Shout it out loud. That's not about love or sex.
Absolutely. No, you're right.
I figured Johnny's going to have a lot of music from the Elder on his list. I don't know.
Well, but see, here's the thing. I'm just going to say all this. I actually could do a top 10 list, and every song is going to be from a different album.
That's fair.
And because I could easily put 3 or 4 songs from Carnival of Souls with no problem.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
but I'm not going to.
Good.
I'm actually picking a song, and I have enough where I can actually do a song from 10 different albums.
You know what? I'm gonna be putting in a list for that.
And Mike was like, "Holy crap, that was fast!" It's like, no, that's how well I know the Kiss catalog up to Carnival of Souls. From Psycho Circus on, that's where they lost me because I don't know any of that stuff. But up to Carnival of Souls. Yeah, I could pretty much name those songs pretty well.
You know what? That inspires me, and I'm going to do the same thing. When I put in my list, I'm going to do the exact same thing, and they're going to be from 10 different albums, just because it's a good idea.
Now, have you heard when Tim Derling does the repetition thing?
Oh, absolutely! I love it. It makes me laugh every time.
I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna work on a new thing that maybe we'll use for that show.
Mike told me which one too. I think it's funny.
Yeah, well, no giveaways because don't want to give too much away. Yep. But yeah, like we're gonna have a little. I'm gonna try to have a little fun with that. But no, my suggestion was like we'll rank the third song from every album. Just put a ranking of all the third songs of the albums of all the albums or something stupid. Yeah, it's like, there's how can you what kind of creative thing can you do with a Kiss show, right?
Well, that was Michael. I gotta say, man, if that was Michael's idea, that
was his idea, and it was a fantastic idea.
Pretty good idea, yeah.
So kudos to Mike on that one. So there you go, folks. So we'll be looking forward to that, folks. This has been a lot of fun. I'm gonna let you all go for the evening, and thank you, Logan. Thank you, Daniel. Good to meet you again. Uncle Elmer Meat, thank you, brother, for coming on and doing this with us. I figured you kind of need a little extra something to help get you out of a little stuff that you've been having to deal with. So
yeah, thank you.
I'm glad we were able to have you on.
Thank you.
Let's just I'm gonna rock and roll with my little intro for tonight, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. So for Logan the Crusher, for Daniel, for Uncle Elmer Meat, Johnny Metal, John Clauser the Metal Dad, saying rock forever, y'all. We'll see you soon.
Great to be with you guys.
Brother.